Congregation Bible Study, August 25-31, 2025. Analysis with question and answer. Let's start by answering the questions from the paragraphs. Let's begin by analyzing. Lesson 12, Jacob got the inheritance. We now answer the following questions. What kind of person was Esau? Esau was an impulsive and spiritually indifferent person. He enjoyed outdoor activities and hunting, but he did not care much about the important promises Jehovah had made to Abraham. This became especially clear when he gave up his inheritance, something very precious, just to satisfy his hunger with a bowl of stew. His words, "I don't care about my inheritance," showed that he valued immediate comfort more than long-term spiritual blessings. Let's move on to the next question. What kind of person was Jacob? Unlike his brother Esau, Jacob preferred staying at home, which may suggest he was more reflective and responsible. Most importantly, he recognized the great value of the inheritance, not just the material part, but especially the promises Jehovah had made to Abraham. His actions showed that he deeply cared about being part of Jehovah's purpose. Even when the opportunity came to receive the blessing, Jacob accepted the guidance of his mother and acted in harmony with what he believed was important. Let's move on to the next question. Why did Jacob receive a blessing instead of Esau? Jacob received the blessing instead of Esau because Esau had shown that he didn't value it. When he gave up his inheritance for a bowl of stew, he proved that spiritual things were not important to him. That decision had serious consequences. Later, when Isaac was old and ready to give the blessing, Rebekah helped Jacob receive it. She likely did this because she knew, even from before their birth, that Jacob was meant to receive greater favor. Also, Jacob had shown that he truly valued Jehovah's promises, unlike Esau. So, although the blessing was meant for the oldest son, Jacob received it because he cared about Jehovah's purpose and acted in harmony with it. Let's move on to the next question. What does this teach us about Jehovah? This account teaches us that Jehovah values those who appreciate spiritual things and take them seriously. He doesn't base his blessings on outward appearances or traditions, like giving the inheritance to the oldest son by default, but on a person's heart and attitude. This helps us see that Jehovah pays attention to what truly matters: our inner qualities, our choices, and how much we treasure our relationship with Him. Next question. What practical lessons can we learn? This account teaches us several practical lessons that can guide our choices today. First, we learn the importance of valuing spiritual things above material or temporary pleasures. Esau gave up something precious for a moment of satisfaction, and that decision brought long-term consequences. We're reminded not to trade our friendship with Jehovah or our spiritual goals for things that don't last. Second, we learn to be like Jacob by showing genuine interest in Jehovah's promises. Just as he appreciated his role in God's purpose, we too can show our appreciation by regularly studying the Bible, attending meetings, and sharing in the ministry. Finally, we see that Jehovah notices what is in our heart. If we put Him first and value what He values, He will bless us, just as He blessed Jacob. Now we move on to the analysis of Lesson 13, Jacob and Esau Make Peace. First question, why did Jacob receive a blessing? Jacob received a blessing because he showed determination, humility, and faith in Jehovah. When he wrestled with the angel, even though he was injured, he refused to give up until he was blessed. This act showed that he deeply valued Jehovah's favor and was willing to struggle for it. His attitude stood in contrast to that of Esau, who had given up his inheritance easily. Jacob's insistence on receiving the blessing showed spiritual strength and endurance, qualities that Jehovah approves of. As a result, the angel blessed him, confirming that Jehovah would continue to protect him, just as he had promised. Next question. How did he make peace with his brother? Jacob made peace with his brother Esau by taking humble and peaceful steps to calm the situation. First, When he heard that Esau was coming with 400 men, he became afraid. But instead of reacting with anger or trying to fight, he prayed to Jehovah for help and protection. Then Jacob sent Esau a generous gift of animals, sheep, goats, cows, camels, and donkeys, as a way to show respect and goodwill. Finally, when they met, Jacob bowed down before Esau 7 times, showing deep humility. These actions touched Esau's heart. Instead of attacking, Esau ran to Jacob, hugged him, and they both cried. Through his humility, prayer, and generosity, Jacob helped restore peace between the 2 brothers. Let's move on to the next question. What does this teach us about Jehovah? This teaches us that Jehovah values peace, humility, and sincere efforts to make things right. Even though Jacob was afraid, he turned to Jehovah in prayer and trusted in his protection. Jehovah responded by reassuring Jacob, through the blessing from the angel, that he was still with him. Also, Jehovah helped soften Esau's heart, showing that he can bring peace even in tense situations when we rely on him and act in a godly way. Jehovah doesn't just protect physically, he also helps resolve conflicts when we do our part with humility and faith. This account shows that Jehovah supports those who seek peace and depend on him instead of reacting with fear or pride. Next question, what practical lessons can we learn? First, when we face fear or conflict, we should imitate Jacob by turning to Jehovah in prayer. Instead of reacting with panic or aggression, Jacob humbly asked for help, showing that relying on Jehovah brings peace of mind and guidance. Second, we learn the value of humility. Jacob didn't approach his brother with pride, even though Jehovah had blessed him. He bowed down and offered gifts. His respectful attitude helped to soften Esau's heart and restore peace. Third, we see that making peace often requires effort. Jacob prepared, prayed, gave generously, and took the initiative. This reminds us that we too must take active steps to fix strained relationships, trusting that Jehovah will bless our sincere efforts. By showing faith, humility, and a desire for peace, we can please Jehovah and strengthen our relationships with others.